Hey guys, Adam's Furniture Restoration. I'm going to put together a brief series of videos describing how to refinish a piece of furniture. This is designed more for beginners, people just trying to get into it, or maybe someone who's just curious. This is not designed for someone who has refinished a lot of pieces. Definitely not for a professional. This is more for the amateur skill level, someone who just has never done it before, or you've done a couple pieces, you're looking for a little, a couple tips or advice on how to handle a couple different things. This is just a small end table. It's nothing special. It's pine. The edges are solid for the most part. The inside piece, it's actually veneer. So the top is pretty mangled, as you can see. The body's not too bad. So actually what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to clean it, touch it up. The body's just going to get resprayed. The top, however, is going to get completely refinished just because it's trashed. So I'm just going to show you one way to do it. There's a lot of different ways to refinish a piece of furniture. Everyone has their own method. This is just one particular way. It may not be the best way for you, but this is the way that I would handle something like this. So, you're going to need some basic things. You are going to need, number one, you need some safety equipment. First and foremost, with any project, ever handling tools, refinishing, even mowing your lawn, you need to take care of yourself. You have to protect yourself. Number one, always start with these, a pair of safety glasses. If you don't have a pair of these already, get yourself a pair. They're maybe $2 at the most to get a cheap set. Protect yourself. You're also going to want some gloves to protect your hands. Let's see. You're going to need just a cheap chip brush. These are, I don't even know, at Home Depot, maybe $1 a piece. These are dirt cheap. Let's see. Small box, trash bag, something like that. I'll show you what this is for shortly. A simple container to hold chemicals. Let's see. Some steel wool, which we'll get into in a minute. Let's see. You're gonna want some clean rags too. I am going to use, let's see, it is the clean strip. It's a paste stripper. Also get yourself some lacquer thinner as well. Not paint thinner, lacquer thinner. There's a huge difference between the two. Okay. The other thing is you're going to want a new clean razor blade. Some people like to use putty knives. I like to use a razor blade. I don't like to use paint scrapers. You can use them. The problem I have with them is you really want to keep a sharp edge on there. I mean, you don't need it like a razor per se, but if there's any nicks or anything where you're trying to scrape off the finish, you're going to mar up the wood. You're just going to create more work for yourself. So I just like to use a simple razor blade. A box of these is fairly inexpensive. Then you can get one of these, a little holder for the razor blade. It makes it easier so that when you have on the gloves, it's not slipping all over the place. So we're going to get started here. Normally I would wear my respirator for something like this because you definitely don't want to be breathing this stuff in, but I'm just going to do a small little section just to kind of show you how the process actually goes. I don't know if I'm going to bore you with the whole thing, doing the whole top. It's fairly simple. Okay, so what you can do is, a lot of times I would pour this into a smaller container if I'm going to do a larger job, but this is a very small piece, so I'm not going to go crazy with it. So I'm just going to pour a little on, just like that. I'm going to take the brush, I'm just going to brush it on here. Whoop. That's not what I want to happen. So if you're not too comfortable with doing this, and you know you're not going to refinish the base, what I would suggest is get yourself some tape and drape, or a piece of newspaper or something like that, and a little, we'll wipe that off there, and some masking tape. Just mask that off so you don't get any of the stripper falling on that and stripping off this bottom finish. I'm not too worried because this is going to need some good touch-up work on it, so I'm not too worried about dripping a little bit like I did right there. I only took off a smidge of the finish. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so you want to spread it on good. You don't want it very thin because it's just not going to eat through that old finish. And the other thing is you don't want it on too thick because that's wasting the material. So you just want to get a layer on there. You want to be able to kind of see it build up a little bit. You don't want it too thin, too thick, kind of, right in the middle, I guess you could say. But, you know, it's one of those things where once you try it, you're going to see for yourself what's going to work out best for you. Now, for a finish like this, it's not super thick. I'm positive this is going to strip off very easily. Sometimes you have to go over a piece twice. I know I'm not going to have to with this. But, I mean, you would just put on a layer, strip it off, finish your whole piece, and then if you have to go back again. A lot of times, there might be a little spot here or there. You can just slap a little more stripper on there and let it go, then strip it off. So you don't have to redo the whole piece. It's totally pointless to put stripper on top of raw wood because it's just not going to do anything. Okay, usually it doesn't take too long, about a minute or so. The sun's beating on this today. It's very, very nice out. So that's going to help a little bit. If it's warm out, obviously it'll help chew it up a little bit faster. If it's cold, it'll take a little bit longer. We're, I don't know, somewhere in the, I guess, mid-50s today, so. All right, and then after it sits for a little bit, give it a little test swipe like that. Okay, that's looking good. So, much like sanding, with stripping, you want to try to go with the grain as much as possible. This is why I have the box. So I'll put the box right here. Take your razor blade, make sure you have on your glasses, gloves, all that good stuff. Just take it as far as up as you can get it, and just put it down there, and just drag it down, just like that. You don't have to go crazy with it. You want it on a slight angle, maybe about 45 degrees. You don't want it straight up and down vertical because you're going to start to get chatter where it skips across. The other thing is you don't want it completely flat like that. It's just not going to do anything. But yeah, just kind of get it on that 45. Light pressure. You don't have to be Hercules and push down on this thing. So light pressure. Grab it. Pull it down like that. Take the old finish. Knock it off. I like to use a box because you have that little edge there so you can kind of scrape it off the blade when you're done with it. So same thing, I'm going to get to this part. So just grab that, drag it down, and it comes right off. Now you can see right there, there's a little bit of finish left over. Let's see, right there's a very light amount. When I spread out the stripper on there, that was a little bit thinner on that side. It wasn't thick enough, but that's not a big deal. If it's a small little amount of residue like that, I'll show you how we're going to get that off in the next phase. But for an edge like this, same thing. Start up high, bring it on down like that. These are a little more tedious because you just don't use as much surface area that the razor blade has. The same thing, just grab it and drag it on down like that. When we get to the corner, just kind of get in there. You don't want to dig it in and tear anything up, but just take your time. If it's your first time, just take your time. You know, like they say, slow and steady wins the race sometimes. And that's it. There you go. So you can drag drag that top again. That's how you're going to do the top. I'm not going to bore you with doing the whole top. That's the gist of it. That's how it works. It's very easy. So, if you're not sure about something, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Don't forget to click on subscribe. Yeah, so when I come back, this is going to be completely stripped, and I'm going to show you what we do to clean it up, to get it ready for standing and stuff like that. Okay? So thank you very much. If you guys have any questions, you know what to do. Have a great day.